fight. Trying to see where this life take me, so I roll the dice. Look up to no one else, but yeah, I was shy. I got real power, Hebrew Israelite.
And verse 40. And verse 40. And the man whose hair is falling off his head, he is bald, yet is he clean.
So a man, if your hair just falling off your head because it might be genetics, you get to a certain age, your hair falling off, hey, that's cool, as long as you're not shaving it.
Right.
The moment you shave it with a razor, that's you going off. But you have certain people that can't grow hair on their head, neither on their beard. So as an Israelite man, you commanded to have hair on your head, and if you could grow a beard, you gotta grow a beard. Certain people, they can't get the full, you dig. Certain people, they only get the hairs on the chin, the mustache, etc. It's up to you and your genetics. Nevertheless, that's a commandment. Y'all know about the Sabbath day? Y'all know when is it? You said what? You said Sunday? Are we gonna show you something? Give me Exodus 20 and 8.
Book of Exodus, chapter 20.
What'd you say? What'd you say? Hey, let's find out. Bring this up.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
God said remember it because it's going to come a time in history where people are going to forget when the Sabbath day is. Certain people think the Sabbath day, oh man, it got to be on a Thursday. Sabbath day, man, it must be on a Tuesday. So God said, hey, you got to remember this thing. Read on.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
So the Sabbath day is the 7th day of the week. So what's the 7th day of the week? You sure? Yeah, let's pull up the calendar. Y'all got a phone? Let's pull up, he got it right here. Let's pull up the calendar. What's the first day, what's the very first day of the week? Sunday. So count 7 days from Sunday. You get Saturday, right? So technically you in the Sabbath right now.
Right.
The Sabbath starts from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So today when the sun went down, now you just enter into the Sabbath day. Because men didn't have Apple Watches 2,000 years ago. They tell the time when the sun sets, every day when the sun sets. So y'all know the do's and the don'ts on the Sabbath? Like, can you do whatever you want to do in there? That's right, you can't work. Right? Not only that, it's a day of rest. So, hey, y'all get home, y'all heading home? Are y'all here for a couple days? All right, well, hey, today, y'all get back inside. Now it's a day to relax, maybe read the Bible. Y'all read? Okay, what book you reading? You said what? Exodus? Okay, that's good, that's good. So you might come home, you might kick your feet off, you might relax, you might turn on some nice music, you might burn some incense, and you might read the Bible. Right? You might pray to God. Now is the day to relax and dedicate this day solely to the Most High. Because this is a sacred day, this is a holy day that He has given to you to, hey, relax. Now, America, they want you to work 7 days.
Right.
Try to tell your boss, hey, hold on, boss. It's the Sabbath day, I can't come into work. He's not going to want to hear that. He's going to say, hey, boy, you better get to work and you'll get fired. Now, hey, the Lord not dealing with that. So if you do have that opportunity not to be able to work, hey, you want to take advantage of that, man. Now, on a Sabbath, not only do you not work, not supposed to work, it's also no buying or no selling on a Sabbath day.
Right.
Let's get that Nehemiah 10 to 35.
Nehemiah.
Chapter 10 and verse 35.
31? Yeah, Nehemiah 10 to 31. Slack.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
That what?
That we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
Because you had men that was trying to sell. They was waiting for the sun to go down to rip off the people to sell to them. And Nehemiah said, hold on the Sabbath day, we're not doing none of this. So according to the Bible, today, you wouldn't be able to do no buying or no selling. You want to get everything done before the Sabbath. Those 6 days, then the 7th day. Hey, you might want to prepare your food, get your sandwiches together, And guess what? Hey, it's a day of rest. That makes sense. All right, y'all got any questions? Any questions about the Bible? All right, we got one question for y'all before y'all leave, the $1 million question. See if y'all can get this right. So according to the Bible, what color is Christ? What would you say? You said what? Oh, you said a dark Jew? Okay. What you say? You said you don't know? If you had to guess, you said no color? Or what if you had to guess? Just no color at all? Okay. Now, this picture, I'm pretty sure y'all seen this image right here before. We gotta update this poster. Y'all probably seen that before. Now, that's a famous picture throughout the world. But what you're gonna come to find out, man has lied. You have something called iconoclasm, where during the time of the Renaissance, which means the rebirth, the so-called white man painted the dark images that were once dark, he painted them white. He started knocking noses off this, so being honest, so-called black people, they got big noses. So if you knock the nose off, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that this man he was a heavily melanated or a dark-skinned person, or he was an Israelite. So the so-called white man, he took all the dark pictures and he painted them to be white. Pictures that was once black.
Right.
Now, how do y'all feel about that? What if somebody painted a picture of you how you is right now, then 20 years later, they took the picture, they said, hold on, she didn't have long hair. Then they cut your hair in half, then, damn, they paint you to be green, and you'll be upset. So how do you think Christ feels? Bad. So let's show y'all real fast the description of Christ. Let's start at verse 1.
This book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
Right. Revelation means to reveal. Read on.
Which God gave unto him to shew unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So it said Christ, he had white woolly hair. Now, we got to examine this. Wool is a texture of hair. It's only a certain Pacific tribe, rather, of people that has woolly texture hair. Everybody doesn't have hair like wool is like what I have now on my head, or hair like a sheep. All right, so it said Christ had white woolly hair. Read on.
As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Right, he had red eyes, pursuing the Genesis chapter 49, fulfilling that prophecy. Now this man, he don't have white woolly hair, neither do he have red eyes. So that's 2 strikes on him already.
Right.
Read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
So it said Christ had feet like brass, so dark it looked like he got burnt in a furnace. What it's saying is Jesus Christ is a very dark-skinned man, according to the Bible. Now, with the question is, we have to figure out who is that white man over there, and why is everybody listening and viewing him as God? You have actual people that think that's God. That's Jesus. Well, that's actually a man by the name of Cesare Borgia.
Right.
He walked the earth. He was the son of the 6th Pope of Rome. He had sexual intercourse with his sister. Not only that, he was a homosexual.
Teach up.
So that's what we come out here to do. We come out here to tell the truth to our people and hope they look into the information so they could be saved. So y'all are Israelites. Don't forget that. That's your nationality. All right, y'all are Israelites, not Hispanic, not Mexican. Y'all are kings and princesses on the earth. All right.
Right.
We got a flyer for you before you go. Y'all be on YouTube. Yeah, y'all got to check us out. Check us out on the YouTube. Let me see that. What's the name? Y'all want a Spanish flyer or an English? It don't matter. English. We got another one after this.
Jackson Park Express to Wacker and Columbus.
So, yeah, that's two. It's two of them, so you could get one to them as well. So, y'all look into that information and hope it was helpful. All right. Bro, all praise to the Most High. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? So what was you letting them know? Okay. So the brother told y'all that we Israelites. He told y'all that. So how do y'all feel? Well, let me ask y'all this. Y'all believe in God? Y'all believe in the Bible? So what's y'all thoughts? What's y'all thoughts on the Bible or y'all perspective on the Bible? On God, y'all feel like he's real? You haven't been into it lately. You've been looking into it. Like, what's y'all perspective on that? Do y'all aspire to live that life for the Bible? Or is this, or you just grew up in it? Your mom just brought you up in the church. You just had to go.
Brought up in the church, but I can't tell you. I do love going to church.
You do love going to church?
Yes.
All right, so let's start right there. What does the church teach you? What have you learned from being in the church?
As in what?
I mean, in general, about God, who he is. Because surely, I mean, if you go to school, you're going to be able to learn something.
Right.
You go to second grade, you're going to be able to learn mathematics, division, maybe multiplication. So from your time of being in the church, I'm assuming you were young. From your time up now, what have you learned in the church about God?
Okay. Now I feel like you're questioning my religion.
I mean, I'm not questioning. I'm asking you a question so I can know where to start from. Because if I might hop into something you might not have no knowledge about.
Trust me, I know.
You know?
I am the daughter of a pastor.
You the daughter. Well, we talking to a daughter of a pastor.
Right.
Well, hey. Well, let's see if your father been putting in some work. You said what?
Your questions over there.
My questions?
Yeah.
My question is, what's your nationality according to the Bible?
What's my nationality?
According to scripture, because everybody has a biblical nationality.
Right.
The word African American is not in the Bible.
It's not, but we are God's people, so we are his Israelites.
We are Israelites, right?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: is everybody an Israelite?
Is everybody? I mean, if you're following God, you are.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 3 and 10. So the Israelites are a nation of people. Give me Deuteronomy 28:15. So you have certain curses in the Bible that only one race of people in 2023 fits today.
Right.
Showing you who are the Israelites. Showing you that everybody can't be an Israelite, whether you believe in God and believe the Bible. So today, sister, you being the daughter of a pastor, we're probably finna blow your mind today. You're gonna hear some stuff out of the Bible that you have never heard in church for a fact.
Right.
For a fact. Let's bring this out.
Book of Exodus chapter 3 and verse 10.
Oh.
Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people.
My what?
My people.
My what?
My people.
My people are doing?
The children of Israel.
The what?
The children of Israel.
So the children of Israel is a nation of people that God has created. It's not only a nation of people, but it's the best people on the planet Earth, pursuant to
right.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 6. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28:15.
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
Now, you know, I'm pretty sure you know about Moses. All right, Moses freed who? Okay, huh? Okay. You heard the curses. What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I don't understand why is it such a big deal. Not trying to like knock y'all down in no way, but y'all really strong about this. Y'all sitting out here in the cold, and I'm sitting here listening.
You know why we sitting out here in the cold?
Why?
Because the Most High commanded us to come out here on the highways and byways and compel his people that they might come in.
Right.
So what we doing? We teaching the truth that you're never gonna hear, only maybe a once in your lifetime. A lot of people don't get to hear this. So let's go to verse number 15. Let's hop straight into the curses.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God told Moses to tell the Israelites, Moses told the Israelites, if y'all do not keep God's commandments, curses is going to happen to y'all. Now, we all know a curse is a bad thing. A curse is not a good thing. I'm going to read 3 curses, and I need you to tell me what nation of people does it fit modern day. You able to keep it a buck on that? Just tell me who does it fit. If it fits the Chinese, if these curses we bring out, if it fits the so-called Chinese man, that means the Chinese man is the biblical Israelites. He's the chosen people of God.
Trying to put one nationality into the Israelites, or like
Well, it could only fit one, because when you
only one nationality can fit into Israelites.
because everybody's not an Israelite.
Everybody's not an Israelite. So you telling me being black and him being who he is, we both my nationalities can't go to Israel.
No, he's an Israelite, but he's from the tribe of Issachar. So you have 12 tribes. You have a whole nation, which is the Israelites, and inside of that nation you have 12 tribes. This is in the Bible. You read about, about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
So who are you saying can't be an Israelite?
If you're not on this side,
If you're not on the side, you're not an Israelite.
no, you're not. According to the Bible and according to history and archaeology, you would not be an Israelite. I mean, everybody can be. It's impossible.
Right.
You had the white people, they're the Edomites. They not the Israelites.
Right.
Chinese people, they're the Moabites.
Right.
You have certain nations, you know about the Canaanites in the Bible? You have certain nations in the Bible that, it just can't be an Israelite. Everybody can't be an Israelite.
Right.
Yeah, here's the 18 nations of people sign. So if everybody's on the earth come from one of those nations, if you're on the earth, right? Everybody, no matter who you are, you come from one of those 18 nations. Well, I'm telling you, sister, that you come from a chosen nation.
Right.
But you telling me anybody else that wants to come to Christ and serve God, that's white people, is not an Israelite.
Let's get straight to the point. Who did Christ come for? Did Christ?
Everybody.
Did,
It came from
what
everybody.
What Bible verse says that Christ came from
Did
everybody?
he not die for everybody's sins?
I need a verse. I need a verse.
Did he not die for everybody's sins?
I need a verse. I need to show you the proof. Can you prove it though? No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying. Give me First Thessalonians 5:21. I need you to prove it.
God so loved the world.
What
He
verse?
gave his only begotten son for all who believe in
Hold
him.
on.
Shall not
Give me
perish,
First
but have
Thessalonians
everlasting
5:21.
life. Thank you. Thank you. No, baby, look it up. John 3:16, baby.
Prove all things.
What God say?
Prove all things.
Read it again.
Prove all things.
So anything that you say, it has to come a scripture.
So they said only these
It has to be a scripture.
Caucasian and white.
The Lord said, prove all things. So y'all said John 3:6. That's y'all go to.
We are all of Abraham. We are all of the Abrahamic.
No, Abraham. How many sons did Abraham have?
He had Ishmael
And what else?
and Isaac.
And what else?
And well, he had a lot by Hagar, but
And
only
what-
one by Sarah.
Okay, so who did God choose out of Isaac and Ishmael?
Well, as a Christian, God said, Abraham, please take Isaac.
And after Isaac had Esau and Jacob. Who did God choose?
Jacob.
So and from Jacob, who did God choose?
This is crazy.
The Israelites. So y'all, she don't know what's going on.
But we are of
But
all
I'm
of the
saying,
tribes.
no, this is my problem.
Are you on this side?
No, listen to me. This is my problem.
Well, hold on.
She's
I'm gonna
not
ask you
on
this.
it. That's what I'm saying.
So she not an Israelite then?
You're like literally out here so-called spreading the word of God and talking about the tribes, but you're signaling out to bring other people to Christ.
Well, who did Christ come for?
No, listen though. You don't know what you're doing.
All right,
Really,
go
though.
on. You step back. Go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
You're like literally signaling out white people, which is
No, it's not about her skin color. It's not about her skin color. It's about who she descends from. Because she says that's the same race that put your ancestors in slavery.
That's not the nationality she's in.
Did her ancestors put your ancestors in slavery? Let's go to Matthew 15 and 14. Cause y'all don't talk about, sister, you're not even in the dress. You the pastor's daughter, right? Where's your dress at? Where's your modest apparel at? Bring this up. Well, hold on. You gotta back up, woman. Bring this up. Matthew 15 and 24.
Why do I have to be in a dress to be a pastor's
It's a
daughter?
commandment by God to be. You would know that.
So I gotta be
if your
dressed?
dad taught you anything.
Where is that at?
Chapter 15 and verse 24.
Let's see who Christ came for. Let's see if Christ came from everybody. Read on. See, they don't want to hear the verses. They don't want to deal with the truth. Read it.
But he answered and said, I am not sent.
I am not what?
I am not sent.
What the Lord say?
I am not sent.
Read it again.
I am not sent.
Read.
But unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
But to who?
But unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Everybody.
But unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
And if she was a true woman of God, she'll come back up here and deal with the precepts, man.
Hey!
But the Lord said the wicked flee when none pursue it. All we did was just read the Bible. Feelings start getting. I know it wouldn't go work out. The moment they start questioning, well, hold on, what about everybody else? Yeah, Esau came up here, but that sister, she trying to save everybody. Well, hold on, Christ, what about everybody that's not on this sign? We're not talking about them, man. We're talking about your nationality. Something that you don't know due to her people. But her dad's a pastor. Like that's supposed to mean, what's that supposed to mean? Your dad a pastor. So what? Right? Anybody can have not saying that he's righteous, but who cares who your dad is? That doesn't determine who you are. Right? Job was a righteous man. But guess what's his kid? His kids was wicked. His kids was off. They could have said, well, hold on, Job's my dad. The Lord don't give a damn about if Job your dad or not, man. Are you righteous? Right? Are you keeping the commandments? Are you perfect like Job? You had Eli in 1 Samuel the 3rd and 4th chapter. Eli, he was a priest of the Most High God. Guess what? He broke his neck because his sons was evil, man. Because his sons was wicked. So the Lord don't care who your father is, man. Give me Jeremiah chapter 23 and 1. So it's already getting started out here, man. We tried to keep it cool. We tried to keep it cordial. We tried to bring out the word in sincerity and free course. But hey, stuff gets stirred up out here, man. Feelings get hurt out here, man. Right? You come out here, you might get your feelings hurt. You might hear some things you never heard today. You might see some teachings and they back. Bring this out, Jeremiah 23 and 1.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastor.
What God say?
Woe be unto the pastors.
Sister, you back? So we can deal in order now?
I'm going back to my hotel.
You going back to your hotel?
I'll be out
Well, sister, you gotta keep the commandments. You gotta put on a dress. You gotta start keeping the commandments of the Most High God. Or be cut down in the land of the living. Read this again.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastor.
What God say?
Woe be unto the pastor.
Read that again.
Woe be unto the pastor.
Read on.
That destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
Because the pastor, the so-called men that saying they pastors, they not really pastors for real, man. Give me Jeremiah chapter 3 and 15. Give me Acts chapter 20 and 28. They not real pastors for real, man. They're nothing but wolves, man. They're false. They're liars. They're corrupting the word of the Most High God. They're not telling the truth. They clearly not teaching any biblical knowledge. If you don't know who Jacob is or Isaac, you're not getting taught anything in that church, man. You need to reevaluate what you're going to. Right, bring out Jeremiah 3 and 15.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to my heart.
It says what?
And I will give you pastors according to my heart.
So the Most High said he's going to give us true pastors. According to this is the true definition of a pastor. If you're not fulfilling Jeremiah 3:15, Acts 20:28, you're not a pastor, man. And I will give you true pastors according to my heart. Read on.
Which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
Which shall what?
Which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
What's your nationality? right? The Lord said a true pastor is going to feed you with knowledge and understanding. Is T.D. Jakes feeding the people with the true knowledge and understanding? What about Creflo Take Your Dollar? What about Joel Osteen? What about that woman's father? So, well, he's not a true pastor according to the Bible. He's a false pastor, right? He's the opposite of what a pastor is supposed to be doing, man. A pastor, he gets everything in order, man. He sets up the people. He judges with equity. He's given the true wisdom and understanding of the Most High God. And a true pastor, he takes care of his flock, man. He don't scatter the flock by spreading lies and seducing spirits. So our people got a lot of stuff to come out of in the last days, man. Nevertheless, that's the true definition of a pastor, a man that feeds the people with wisdom and understanding and knowledge. Let's bring this up.
It's book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 28. Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock, over the which the Holy Ghost hath made you overseers.
So a real pastor is not only feeds you with wisdom and understanding, he's an overseer of the flock, right? These pastors are not overseeing the flock, man. They letting all type of adultery happen in the church. Right, you had that one, Pastor Bankhead in New York. He getting robbed on stage. Now, with the Most High let you get robbed on stage while your church service going on, that's how you know the Lord not with you, guy.
That's right.
If that happened to you, you get robbed. You doing this sermon, right? You going into it, and you get robbed. The Most High robs you on stage via a gangster. The Lord not with you, man.
Right.
Not only that, he got caught up in fraud because he was robbing the people.
Right.
So what's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I'm all right. You know your ethnicity?
You said what?
You know your ethnicity?
Yeah, I'm half African American, half Hispanic.
Okay, half African American, half Spanish. You believe in the Bible?
Oh yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I believe.
You're a Christian? Okay. Now, what's your biblical nationality? Do you know?
Well, I believe the chosen people, the Hebrews were African, so I believe in that as well.
The Hebrews were Africans?
Yeah, my ancestors were probably like a part of the chosen people.
So you heard about the Hebrew Israelites before?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it? Do you believe it?
I think that the devil kind of like made the chosen people like kind of like white and like, you know what I mean? Like he made it to the point where the whole world thinks that the true chosen people in the Bible are not like this, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, that's right, brother. I mean, this is what you call the lies of the world.
Right.
That's why you can't believe everything that the world says.
Yeah.
Give me Revelation 2:9. So, what's your father, Hispanic or so-called African American?
He's from Chicago.
What's his nationality, though?
I think he's just African American.
Okay. So you are what your father is according to the Bible. So according to the Bible, you would be an Israelite. Christian is just a religion. Right, or a title. An Israelite is a nation of people. You have 12 tribes. More than likely, you descend from the tribe of Judah, pursuant to who your father is. We're here to strengthen your belief in the Most High. We're here to show you that this thing is absolutely correct. I know you heard us coming down here. You probably walking down here. No doubt. You probably heard the microphone. You probably heard the microphone. You probably heard something was dragging you down here today.
Yeah, I heard the microphone, yeah.
Yeah, so you said, hold on, I gotta go check this out.
How long you guys been doing this for?
Hey man, certain brothers been up here for some years. Bro, I've been doing this for a couple years.
That's awesome, bro. You guys gotta keep it up.
All praise. Let's bring this out.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty.
And what?
And poverty.
So the Lord said, hey, I know your true poverty. The real Israelites, they're in poverty. They're on the bottom. All right? Read on.
But thou art rich.
What?
But thou art rich.
Through the Spirit we're rich. Read on.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
With what?
Which say they are Jews.
Because you have a group of people on the earth, the so-called Ashkenazi Jew, they're saying that they're real Israelites. The people in the homeland right now, they're saying, no, hey, I'm the real Jew. Right? I descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But you come to find out, those are not the chosen people of God that's in the homeland right now.
Right.
Those are what you call imposters. They was pointed that land by the Balfour Declaration, 1948, and you had something called the Arab-Israeli Wars. So they just inherited that land not too long ago. Nevertheless, the Lord said, I knew the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. You listening, brother?
Yeah.
Right? Read on.
And are not.
And are what?
And are not.
And the Lord said in the Bible they not the real Jews. But what?
But are the synagogue of Satan.
But what?
But are the synagogue of Satan.
Well, you're going to come to find out those people in the land right now, they are the devil. Right? They are literally, they're Satan. They're the synagogue of Satan.
Right.
Those people, they are the Edomites, according to the Bible.
Teach.
You had an Israel. You have different nations on the earth. Everybody's just not an Israelite for some odd reason. Everybody's an Israelite now. No, you have different nations. You have the Ammonites. You have the Canaanites. Right? You have the different tribes. You have the Perizzites. You have the Hittites. You have the Moabites. They come from the nation of Edom. They come by the name of Esau. We come from a man named Jacob. So indeed, you will be an Israelite. Why? Because more than likely you fit the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Now, where you from?
LA.
You said what?
LA.
LA?
Yeah.
Hey, how we living out there in LA, man?
It's alright, man. Honestly, I like it out here, to be honest.
You like it out here?
Yeah.
You grew up in the poverty parts?
No, nicer parts.
Okay. How are people living in those parts?
Good, man. We're living good.
What about in poverty?
Not too good, to be honest.
Not too good.
A lot of homelessness.
Hey, even in those good parts you living in, majority of us, that's not even us living there. Those are the so-called rich white people that live there. So as a whole, even as a nation in the city of Chicago, the majority of these people that live in these buildings is not us. And if we do live there, best believe we just rent it, where it's just a hotel. Those people, they stay here. So you have specific curses to show you who are the Israelites on the earth. If you do not fit these curses, you would not be a simple, you would not be an Israelite. If you fit these curses according to prophecy and your spirit bears witness, pursuing to Romans chapter 16, that means you will be a part of God's chosen people. The Lord has chosen your race of people and made a covenant with him for him to be your God and for you to be a part of his people. So let's bring this out.
It's book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 15.
Now, we tried to bring this out to somebody else earlier, and they didn't like it. So we're going to see if you're a little bit different, brother. Certain people, again, this hurt somebody's feelings earlier up here today. They started getting mad. They started saying, no, that's not right. That's not what my pastor said. And we got to see, man. Let's read on.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
That what?
That all these curses.
And the Lord said all these curses will what?
Shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So if the ancient biblical Israelite, if they didn't keep the commandments of the Most High God, God would send punishments on them.
Right.
Just like any father will punish his children, punish his kid if he does wrong. Nobody's going to let their sons just do whatever they want to do with no repercussions. No, it's consequences, and it's ultimately tough love at the end of the day for you to learn from your mistakes. Nevertheless, you don't keep my commandments, curses is going to happen to you. Let's go to verse 46.
Verse 46. And it reads, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
For what?
Forever.
So these curses will be upon the Israelites for a sign. So when you see these curses, you know, oh, that's the Israelites. Just like you see what happens when you see the golden M? You know that's what?
I'm not sure.
You're real hungry, you're driving home from work, and you see a golden M with an arch in it.
Oh, McDonald's.
You know that's McDonald's, right? You might go past what? You see a damn chicken on it, and you see the white and the white and the red, and you know that's Chick-fil-A. So when you see these curses, you know what? We're the chosen people. Wherever you see these curses, oh yeah, ghetto poverty. Oh yeah, that's the Israelites right there. That's them right there over there. Oh, black on black crime. Okay, yep, that's them right there. Right? That's what these are. These are for a sign and for a wonder. You examine some of these curses, you like, hold on, whoa. Let me take this back a little bit. This in the Bible? Wow, what have I been doing all my life? Hey, this gonna blow your mind, man. It's a wonder. People wonder at these things, right? And upon thy seed forever. So these curses will always be upon the Israelites until Christ comes back, ultimately. Until the Lord comes back and redeem us and bring us all together, establish his covenant, we enter into the kingdom. These curses will always be upon the Israelites. Now, let's get straight. Let's go to verse 54.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother.
Now the Lord said one of the curses is that the Israelite man will have an evil eye toward another fellow Israelite. Now modern day terms, because nobody's just we're coming out of the womb saying, yeah, I'm an Israelite. We all have modern nationalities put on us, like African American, Chinese, Japanese, Arabian. So you have to put these things in modern day terms. What nation of people has an evil eye toward their fellow brother on a massive scale as a nation, not individually, as a whole? What nation of people envies each other, robs each other, kills each other, takes each other's wives, and makes songs about it? We do. Does the Chinese man do that? Do he do that? Do their nation of people does that? You said what? Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
No, they're all united. We're the only ones divided.
We're the only ones divided. Now, why is that? Why are we the only ones divided?
I guess just the curse over time. We just...
Now, why did that curse happen?
We were falling with the Most High, but over time, I feel like all the royalty and all the wealth got to our heads, and we turned away from Yahweh, and we started serving other gods.
Okay, yeah, you on the right track, brother.
Yeah.
There you go. So over time, we disobey him. Hey, through wealth, majority of it was pride. We wanted to do it. We feel like we didn't need God no more.
Right.
We are. I mean, hey. Imagine you during the time of Solomon. Hey, you up, man? Solomon is your king. It's peace throughout the land. You might have your damn. Hey, it was probably busted back there. Hey, what are we doing with the Most High, man? Hey, we don't need him no more, man. We got Solomon. That's the mindset of the ancient Israelites. Oh, now we got King Ahaz, man. Right? You over there, he's causing the people to err in their ways, and you saying we got King Ahaz. Instead of having the Most High be a king. Even Samuel said that. So we have an evil eye toward each other. Read on.
And to the wife of his bosom.
And toward what?
And to the wife of his bosom.
Meaning the Israelites will have an evil eye toward their women. Now, how are we treating our women?
Not too good.
Not too good. Just how? I don't even have to ask you what time. How are we treating our women? You automatically say not good. How should we be treating our women?
We should be at least, better fathers to our children, and better husbands and baby daddies and stuff like that.
Hey, well, according to the Bible, there shouldn't be no baby daddies going on. Once you're married, once you have a wife, that's it.
Right.
It's not hold on, that's just my baby daddy. I actually got 3 baby daddies. One of them locked up. The other one, he work at Wendy's. No, that's off.
Right.
You don't want to have no baby. The Lord not dealing with baby daddies. The Lord is dealing with marriage.
Right.
A husband and a wife
Order.
that agree together. A beautiful Israelite family.
That's right.
That's what the Most High God is dealing with.
Right.
So, hey, the Israelites, okay, y'all want to break my commandments? I'm going to have y'all mistreat y'all women. Vice versa. Right? Now, read on.
And to the remnant of his children,
And he will have an evil eye toward his children. Let's see what he's going to do to his children. Read on.
which he shall lead,
Which he shall what?
which he shall lead,
He's going to stay in the household.
which he shall lead.
It's already prophesied thousands of years ago that the Israelites will be most known for leaving their children.
That's right. That's right.
These are the curses that only us fit. We fit. The people on this sign. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Let's get straight to the point, verse 68.
Verse 68,
No.
and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Meaning the Most High will bring you into Egypt again. Now, did the Israelites ever go, once they came out of Egypt by the hand of Moses, did they ever go back into Egypt? Brother? I said, once the Israelites came out of Egypt, did they ever go back?
So Moses brought him out of Egypt.
Yeah, when Moses brought them out, they went through the Red Sea, the wilderness. Did they ever say, hold on, let's just go back?
They did a lot of times.
You said they did go back?
No, they wanted to go back a lot of times, but it was tough.
Right, they went to go back, but did they as a nation? No. They went to the promised land.
Right.
So God is saying, I'm going to bring you back into Egypt again. Now, this is spirit, this is not literal. Because the Israelites never went back into Egypt as a whole. Now, do you know what they were doing in Egypt?
They were in bondage. They were in slavery.
They were in slavery. So Egypt represents slavery,
Right.
bondage, captivity. Let's show you that. Exodus 20 and 12. Exodus 20 and 2.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 2.
No.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Out of the what?
out of the land of Egypt,
Read on.
out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt and bondage is similar. They're synonyms. Just like America. Hey, America got what? Slaves in it. Right? America, just like ancient Egypt has slaves, guess what? America has slaves as well. It's just two different empires enslaving the same people. So when the Lord said, I will bring you back into Egypt again, he's saying, I'm going to bring you guys, if you guys, y'all really don't want to keep my commandments? Okay, I'm going to bring y'all, I'm going to put y'all back in slavery. But how though? How did we come over here to America? Let's read it out of the Bible.
With ships.
So seeing that, what our forefathers did, let's go to Lamentations chapter 5 and 7 real fast. What our forefathers did, our ancestors did, it affected us in a heavy way. And we have to deal, because ultimately we are our ancestors. So we was those people in the wilderness. We was those same people that was bucking up against God, that was murmuring. Because we do it today. We still hard-headed. We still don't want to listen. We still want to do what we want to do. We the same people, we just back on the earth through the regeneration. So let's read this.
It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 5 and verse 7. Our fathers have sinned.
It says what?
Our fathers have sinned.
Right, our ancestors, they sinned, man. They went off. Read on.
And are not.
And are what?
And are not.
Meaning they not here anymore. They all died. Read on.
And we have borne their iniquity.
And what?
And we have borne their iniquity.
We have to pay for what our forefathers did. Our forefathers, they went off. Guess what? We got to pay for it. So seeing, how do we get in this whole situation we in right now? As a nation of people on the bottom of society. We just read it. How do we get in this predicament? Because in order to get in it, we didn't just, again, the Most High just didn't create us and say, you know what? You guys are automatically going to be at the bottom. Going to have low poverty rate, going to have Section 8 housing. Your men, you're going to beat on your wives. Your father, you're going to leave the household. No, it didn't work like that. So how did we get in this boat, as they say?
Turn my back on God and disobedience.
Okay, being disobedient to what? You said
Brother said right here,
his commandments.
right.
So we were disobedient to his commandments. that got us in this whole situation, what's the best thing we should just do? Be obedient. And to what?
Statutes, laws, and commandments.
The statutes, laws, and commandments.
That's right.
In order to do that, you have to know the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
So you know some commandments we should be keeping as Israelites?
Well, Jesus said himself, the first and greatest commandment of the law is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And the second is like it, to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Absolutely. Do you know who your neighbor is?
Everybody. Brothers and sisters around.
You said everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
All right, let's show you something. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse number 17. Technically, everybody is not your neighbor. When Christ said that, when chiefly the Mosai said that in the law, he was quoting something. You have Leviticus 19. A lot of the stuff that's mentioned in the New Testament, it was quoted out of the Old Testament.
Right.
And again, men just didn't walk around in the time of the New Testament. Thou shalt da 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 da. A lot of this, because all they had was the Old Testament.
Right.
That's all they went off. So let's see what Christ was ultimately quoting in this verse, in that precept in Matthew chapter 22 and 36. Let's read this.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and verse 17.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
It says what?
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Read on.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
So you cannot hate your brother in your heart. If you see your brother in sin, you gotta, hey, hold on, we can't be doing that. That's sin, All right, you gotta correct them. Read on.
Verse 18.
No.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Against the what?
Against the children of thy people.
Who's your neighbor?
Against the children of thy people.
Your neighbor is the children of thy people.
Right.
So technically, if they not on this sign, they would not be your neighbor. Does that make sense? So what your neighbor is only your fellow Israelite, your fellow brothers and sisters. For some odd reason, our people, not saying you, but we just encountered something where a lot of people think everybody's their neighbor. God, hey, we gotta love everybody.
Right.
When those other races have not shown the same love to you.
At all.
Slave, this wasn't love. When the white man was beating our backs in and hanging us on trees, where was Matthew 22 and 36 at then? Why didn't he say, well, hold on, I'm not going to do this to y'all. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Right.
Yeah, where was that at? It was nowhere to be found. But now in 2022, since we starting to realize that you guys aren't our neighbors and that you are our enemies according to the scriptures, now it's God loves everybody. Now it's we are neighbors. Let's just all get along now. Well, we're not dealing with that, huh?
Right.
That's not according to the scriptures. And people,
I think we should forgive them at least. And just,
you say you think we should forgive them?
I think that's what the Most High wants.
Why forgive who?
Everybody that did us wrong back in the day.
And why should we forgive them?
Because, it says something in the Bible that, if you want the Father to forgive you, you should forgive those around you. You know what I mean? And I feel like, God doesn't hold grudges. You know what I mean? He does get angry, but I don't feel like he would want us to stay angry at each other. Because Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And if we don't forgive each other, how are we going to be at peace with each other?
When you mean forgive each other, are you talking about other races outside of us?
Yeah. Other races outside of the country.
And that's one of the things with Christianity and what it has done to our people. Nowhere in the Bible did God say forgive everyone.
Right.
It's not in there.
Right.
Forgive thy neighbor. Let's go to that in Sirach chapter 28 and verse 1. What? Everywhere it's talking about your neighbor, it's not talking about everyone. Because when we had this idea to forgive everyone, then you get George Floyd. Again, what was this? The reason why we're not forgiving none of them but our brother. See, what we need to do is start worrying about our people first.
Right.
Worry about how that affects us. Not that we should forgive the heathen, but once we start with us first, then we can probably talk about them. Right now, we can't talk about them when you still have black on black. When we need to forgive each other first.
Right.
When we need to love each other first. Instead of try to love, let me forgive him. But you still holding your grudge against your damn great uncle that's kicking his feet up at the barbecues.
Right.
Right? Everybody got that one family member that's holding a grudge against another family member. Right? You pull up to the kickback. She thinks she okay. I'm gonna respectfully say bye. I had a good time. They say, hold on, why you leaving so early? No, I'm good. I'm not gonna do this today. They walk off. But they quick to forget they white boss that just spit on them at work. You just let your boss just spit on you. You say, hold on, that's okay. That's off, man.
Wicked.
Let's read this.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 1. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance.
Right?
Forgive thy neighbor.
It says what?
Forgive thy neighbor.
Everybody.
Forgive thy neighbor.
We just read according to the Bible, according to the law, your neighbor is the children of thy people. People in China, they're not my neighbors. Just being physically, they're not my neighbors. And even through the spirit, they're not my neighbors. My neighbor is only the children of thy people. That's what God said. So it says, forgive thy neighbor, read on.
The hurt that he hath done unto thee, so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest.
See that? So all throughout the Bible, it don't say everybody. It say your neighbor. Because then when you pray to God, now he's able to forgive you because you forgave your brother.
Right.
So do that make sense? It's not talking about everybody?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But do you agree with it?
Not wholeheartedly.
And why is that?
You know, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, he died for everybody. He didn't just die for the chosen people.
Okay. What if I showed you in the Bible, would you believe it then that Christ only died for the Israelites? What if I showed you then?
You have a scripture for that?
Absolutely. The Lord said, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God.
Right.
So anything that I say is going to have proof with it. I can't just say, well, hold on, Christ didn't die for everybody, and we just arguing back and forth with our own words. Hey, let's see what the Bible say.
Right.
It's not about what I think. I'm just man. Right? I'm earth and ashes. Let's bring this out. Give me Matthew 15:24. Give me John chapter 1 and verse 30. And give me 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 3. Let's bring this up.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24.
Yeah.
But he answered and said, I am not sent.
I am not what?
I am not sent.
This is red letter. Right? Now, in this context, Christ is talking to the Canaanitish woman. She asked you, can you heal my daughter? He didn't even answer this woman a word. Then he said, it is not meet to cast the children's bread to the dog. So Christ just called this woman a dog. So what he's saying is, he said, I am not sent, read on.
I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
But unto who?
But unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Who did Christ come for?
But unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Give me Romans chapter 9 and give me verse 4. So that's one verse. Christ said, I am not sent, but only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Christ only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's just one verse. Give me John 1 to 30. It's the book of John, chapter 1 and verse 30. Yeah. Now you know about John the Baptist, correct? Let's see what John the Baptist said.
This is he of whom I said, after man cometh a man, after me cometh a man, which is preferred before me, for he was before me, and I knew him not, but that he should be made manifest to Israel.
With that what?
Be made manifest to Israel.
Who is Christ made manifest to?
To Israel.
Christ, John the Baptist says, hey, it's a man that's more mighty than I am. I can't be compared unto Christ. That he should be made manifest to Israel. Right. Now, John the Baptist, he didn't say everybody. He didn't say only one nation. He said, hey, he only made manifest into Israel. Right. So that's 2 verses. Let's get 3 for completion. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Man. Hey, hold that 1 Corinthians. Let's bring out Romans 9 and 4.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 4.
No.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Who are Israelites?
So this is Paul in the New Testament. You know about Paul? The Apostle Paul? This is Paul in the New Testament. He said, who are Israelites? Read on.
To whom pertained the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises.
Right.
Whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh.
As whom as what?
Concerning the flesh,
Concerning the flesh, read on.
Christ came.
Christ what?
Christ came.
So Paul is saying who are Israelites pertaining to adoption and covenants, the glory, the service of God, and it's concerning the flesh, Christ came. So according to that scripture, it says Christ only came for the Israelites. Now with us bringing out those proofs, what's your thoughts now on, because I'm going to be honest, that ideology of God is for everybody, that's what you call Christianity. And not only that, it's indoctrination, something that the slaves' masters did to the slaves. I mean, it's history. So a lot of the times when you saying this stuff, it literally comes from a worldwide religion that came together. You had certain councils, not during the Roman Empire. You had the council, you had the 7 ecumenical councils. You had the Council of Ephesus, the Council of Nicaea, where a lot of these traditions and these ideologies, these doctrines, even with the virgin birth, etc., they came around through these councils, and men set that up instead of going off the true word of God. So what's your thoughts on us bringing out these verses?
I think they're awesome, but I feel like I still have to disagree a little bit. Yeah.
Do you disagree with those verses?
Not the verses, just the context.
And why do you disagree with it?
Because God is good, you know what I mean? I don't feel like he just came to give his life on the cross just for the chosen people. I feel like he gave his life for everybody that he's created, past, present, and future, throughout the entirety of existence, you know what I mean? I don't feel like it was just for us.
Okay, now, what you're saying is, you're saying I feel like. And a lot of the times, we can't go off how we feel.
Right.
The Lord said, the heart is deceitful among all things. So it's not how I feel about it either. It's about what God said.
Right.
Now, I'm going to have to ask you, do you have any proof showing that God and Christ came for everybody?
No, I don't.
So, with that being said, and we have to go with what biblical proof we have.
Right.
Now, I know it may be hard, brother. You might have not heard those verses before. The stuff might be new to you. But my advice is have a willing mind. You have to be reborn again.
Right.
Meaning you have to take everything that you were taught. You have to become as a child again.
Right.
A child doesn't come out the womb and say, hey, I know everything. He's 8 months old and he's talking about some A, B, C, D, E. He don't know that. He has to be taught that. So when we come into it, because a lot of the ways we were taught were wrong. I was taught wrong, brother. I thought Christ was a so-called white man. I thought Christ was for everybody. I thought God loves everybody. But when I picked up this book and read for myself, I was mind blown. How much information could be hidden due to our lack of reading and comprehension. So I can only recommend is receive it with a willing mind. Go off what the Bible says. Hey, maybe go on the fast, ask the Most High to open up your understanding. Because our people, I'm going to be honest, we don't really know who God really is. A lot of the times we say, which he is, God is an austere man. A lot of our people think God is love. He's hugs and kisses. Do you know that God actually hates people? You know that? Let's show him. Romans 9:13.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 13.
No.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
But what?
But Esau have I hated.
God said, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated.
Right.
You know who Esau is?
No.
Esau was Jacob's brother that you read about in the Old Testament. Jacob is the progenitor of the Israelites, the people in his sign. And Esau, he's the progenitor of the so-called white race, also known as the Edomites. So according to the Bible, God, he hates. Now, a lot of people say, hold on, God doesn't hate, God loves. Well, it's a just balance. God, he can't just love everybody and he has no hatred. He can't just be loving kindness and merciful, but he doesn't have wrath or anger. Everything is a just balance.
Right.
Let's get that in Proverbs chapter 11 and 1. And that's what we mean by our people won't know who God is. They think that Caesar Borgia, they think that he's God. Where's the sign at? Turn this around. They think that this man is God over there. That's the Most High. That's Yahweh Shai. No, the Lord see, man, it's a lot of strongholds we got to tear down. But let's bring this up.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 1.
Bring it out.
A false balance is an abomination to the Lord.
It says what?
A false balance is an abomination to the Lord.
Read on.
But a just weight is his delight.
So God delights in a just weight. Everything is balanced out with the Most High God. He not just one-sided. He has love, but at the same time, he has hate. Give me Proverbs 6:16. You have 6 things that God literally hates 6 things. There's literally 6 things that he hates. Let's read it out of the Bible.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 16.
No.
These 6 things doth the Lord hate.
It says what?
These 6 things doth the Lord hate.
And the Lord said, it's 6 things that I hate. Read on.
Yeah, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look.
What?
A proud look.
A guy hates a proud look. Read on.
A lying tongue. And hands that shed innocent blood. And heart that devises wicked imaginations. Feet that be swift in running to mischief. A false witness that speaketh lies. And he that soweth discord among brethren.
So those 6 things God literally hates. The Lord hates a false. If you're a false witness, we here to say it, God hates you, man. It is what it is. Whether you an Israelite, whether you not, the Lord is hating you for that moment. Right? Now, he hates Esau perpetually because Esau had a perpetual hatred for his brethren, Jacob. Nevertheless, and the Lord hates a man, if you sow in discourse among the brethren, the Lord hates you, man. If you always swift to shed evil, you're a murderer. Now, if you repent from that, okay, that's different. But if you continually in these things, the Most High, he's not getting down with that. Let's go to Sirach 12:6. So you see, have you ever heard those verses before?
I've heard the arrogant lip one. I know that God doesn't like arrogance, for sure.
What about the hate? God hates Esau.
Yeah, they don't really preach that in the churches, to be honest.
It's why you know why?
Because they want the feel-good message and stuff like that.
Thank you. They want I call them motivational speakers. Right? A motivational, you get motivation every Sunday, that's not gonna get you into the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
See, our job is to get you into the kingdom by all means, brother. Our job is to get you into the kingdom before we get into the kingdom, brother.
Right.
If I'm able to get you into the kingdom before I enter in, hey, that's cool with me. By all means, hey, you can have it. The most I say, it's only 2 of y'all left. One of y'all got to get the kingdom. Both of y'all not going to make it in. I would humbly just give it to you, brother. Why? Because that's our job. Those pastors, they're not going to, you really think they want to give you the kingdom? Out of all their congregational members, out of all the bills that's due in the church, out of all the money, you really think they care about you? Just because reality, they don't. It's too much stuff that they got, they worried about. To be truly caring about one person, individually. So a lot of these people, they don't know what's going on, man. They're mentally destroyed. But our job is to get you into the kingdom of heaven by all means. You might have to lose a leg, but guess what? You still in there. You might have to lose an arm, you still in that thing, man. Forever. Now let's read this.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 6. For the Most High hated sinner.
It says what?
For the Most High hated sinner.
You know what?
And will repay vengeance unto the ungodly.
See that? It said, hey, it's plethora of verses we just brought out showing you that God hates actual people and nations. All right? Now, do you know how to get the kingdom of heaven?
Only through God's grace.
Only through God's grace?
Well, I feel like the first step is accepting, Jesus Christ as a personal Lord and Savior. And then the next step is repentance, repenting of our sins, and then being transformed from sinners to saints. We can't just stay in our sins, you know what I mean? We got to be transformed. Through the power of the Holy Spirit, we can't do it of ourselves, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We can't get in that through works. It's only through God's grace and through God's unmerited favor alone, you know what I mean? But we still got to do our part.
Okay. Let's see what the Bible says.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 19, and verse 16. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one.
Right, this man, he's coming up to Christ saying, Lord, how do I get everlasting life? How do I get eternal life? Hey, Christ saying, hey, hold on. Hey, I'm not even good. Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one. That is the Father. That's God. Read on.
That is Yahweh. But if thou wilt enter into life,
If thou will what?
if thou wilt enter into life,
If you want to get the kingdom forever, the eternal kingdom that's coming, where Christ is going to establish, what do you have to do?
keep the commandments.
Do what?
Keep the commandments.
What the Lord say?
Keep the commandments.
This is red letter. Christ said you have to keep the commandments. Now, yeah, Matthew 19 and 16 on down. So we're going to say this here. You don't have to just, yes, you have to keep the commandments, but you also have to have faith. So it links up. You have to have faith and you have to have works, right? Starting with faith, you have to believe first before you get to the works. Nevertheless, you have to keep the commandments of the Most High God. So do you know any commandments that we have to be keeping as Israelites?
Well, the 10 Commandments.
Okay. Did you know it's more than 10 commandments?
No, I didn't.
Let's show you something. So, yeah, we have to keep the 10 commandments. That's very beneficial. That's just, that's the milk, the 10. Nevertheless, you have commandments outside of the 10.
Right.
Like we can't be a homosexual. That's not inside the 10 commandments. But we still have to keep that. So there's other laws outside of the 10 that the Most High gave us that we have to keep. And we're going to show you some. Let's bring this up.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 7. And the swan.
And the what?
And the swan.
You know what?
No, he divided the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
He is what?
He is unclean to you.
Read on.
Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean to you.
Right. On.
Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the water.
So according to the Bible, we can't eat swine. You know what swine is? Pork. You eat pork?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So what you want to do is you want to ask the Most High. You want to read over this. Read it for yourself. Read over it. Ask God for forgiveness. And you can't never eat pork again.
Right.
Now, Christianity teaches that it's okay to eat pork. All you got to do is just pray over it. That's not, or that's the Old Testament. Right? That Old Testament doesn't count anymore. Well, hold on. God doesn't change. That's Malachi 3 and 6. So,
Didn't Jesus establish the new covenant when he came?
you said what?
Didn't Jesus establish the new covenant when he came?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, the Bible doesn't say, so we're going to show you why. Because, do you know what the new covenant is?
Not exactly, but I know it's just like pretty much the old that's passed away, and since Christ came, the new has been established pretty much.
All right, let's show you.
And that's why we don't do all, all that old animal sacrifices anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All right, let's go into this thing.
You able to cut this off? You able to cut this off?
Yeah, cut it off.
All right, let's just deal with it. All right, give me Hebrews chapter 8 and 8. Give me the book of Hebrews chapter 9 and 16, and give me the book of Jeremiah chapter 31 and 31. Let's tackle this new covenant. So a lot of people think we are in a new covenant just because Christ died. All right, or Christ said, "This is the New Testament where I've shed. This is my blood." And they don't know that you have certain ordinances inside the new covenant to determine whether you're in a new covenant or whether you're in an old covenant. And a lot of this stuff is simply due to the lack of reading and a lack of comprehension. Yeah, you able to step up some? I don't want to put string on my voice. Nevertheless, and somebody give me 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5. Now let's bring this out first.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, and verse 8. For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant.
That will what?
When I will make a new covenant.
Right, God is going to make a new covenant. Read on.
With the house of Israel.
With the what?
With the house of Israel.
With the house of Israel. Read on.
And with the house of Judah.
Read on.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
Right, so he said, well, hold on, not that old covenant that I made with them when I brought them out of Egypt. I gave Moses the commandments on Mount Sinai. We enter into the covenant. Not that one. Read on.
Because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, said the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days.
Right, he's going to make that covenant with the house of Israel after those days. Ultimately, this is going to, it get deep. We don't want to get too deep, but this is going to happen in the second wilderness. Read on.
Said the Lord, I will put my laws into their mind.
Now, this is the ordinances to let you know that we are in the new covenant. So if we don't fit these things right now, it's impossible to be in the new covenant, because when we are in the new covenant, God is, the things that God is listing right now, that's what's going to be happening right now. So when we in a new covenant, God will put his laws into our mind.
Right.
Read on.
And write them in their hearts.
Right, he's going to write it on our heart. Read on.
And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
Read on.
And they shall not teach every man his neighbor.
And they shall what?
And they shall not teach every man his neighbor.
Read on.
And every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest.
So when it says when we are in the new covenant, nobody would be teaching anybody saying know God, because everybody's going to know God from the least to the greatest. The question is, does everybody know God from the least to the greatest?
Does everyone know God? No.
So
I'm still trying to get to know God myself.
Absolutely. So with that being said, it's kind of impossible for us to be in the new covenant, because when we are in the new covenant,
And they shall not teach every...
verse number 13.
Verse 13. In that he said, a new covenant. He hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
Is what?
Is ready to vanish away.
So God said the old covenant is ready to vanish away. Now if I say I'm ready to pick you up, have I picked you up already? No. If I say I'm ready to go get something to eat, have we got something to eat ready already?
Not yet, no.
So if I say the old covenant is ready to vanish, are we in the new covenant? According to the Bible.
I'm not sure. Actually.
Well, we just ask that you read over these verses. And because we're not in the new covenant yet. The new covenant is on its way, but we're not there yet.
Right.
Now bring out Hebrews 9:16.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 16.
Yeah.
For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator.
Right, a testator. Now,
Testator.
Christ, he was the testator of the new covenant. Meaning he kicked off the new covenant through his death, but it's not implemented yet. Because you have certain ordinances that must come to pass.
Right.
Like nobody will be teaching, the laws will be on our inward parts. Again, that stuff hasn't happened yet. Read on.
For a testament is of force after men are dead.
Right?
Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator lives.
Right, so when Christ died, again, that's when it's initiated. But just because it's initiated, that don't mean it's in effect, right? And just like your job might say, hey, soon we having a policy, everybody got to wear their uniform. But it's going to be in effect 2 weeks from now. So we waiting for that new covenant to be initiated ultimately when the Lord returns and brings us into the wilderness, have us pass through the body of the covenant. Now we enter into the new covenant. Because the moment you enter into the new covenant, you cannot sin. It's impossible to sin because you have the laws written on your inward part. It's already written on your mind, on your heart. That means nobody could be sinning when we in the new covenant.
Right.
Obviously, we still sinning. So those are just verses to show you that the new covenant is not here yet. We still in the old covenant. Now let's go to 1 Timothy 2:5.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 5.
Yeah.
And if a man also strive for masteries,
1 Timothy 2 and 5.
So book of
Oh,
First
damn.
Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5.
Yeah.
For there is one God and one mediator between God and men,
Right?
the man Christ Jesus.
Right, so Christ is the mediator between the Heavenly Father and his people. Ultimately, he's a mediator as well for the new covenant. A mediator is somebody that's going to bring two people to agreement because either they didn't agree together before or they fell out of agreement. So that's why you had that mediator to step in and bring them back. The Lord is going to bring us back with the new covenant. Yeah, do that make sense? Okay, all praise. So those just a couple commandments: no eating pork, keeping the Sabbath day, no shrimp, crab, or lobster. Let's go to Leviticus 19. It's a lot of stuff we get. You stay out here.
Yeah, I live, not live, but I stay like a couple blocks down the road to the hotel.
How long you down here for?
I'll fly out Monday.
Okay, well you gotta. It's a lot of information. You probably gotta check us out tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be down here at 3.
Right. Okay.
So let's bring this up.
So book of Leviticus chapter 19 in verse 26.
No.
You shall not eat anything with the blood.
It says what?
You shall not eat anything with the blood.
Right, no eating food with blood in it, everyone.
Neither shall you use enchantment, nor observe times. Verse 27.
No.
You shall not round the corners of your heads,
Right?
neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard.
So according to the Bible, you can't shave your head, neither can you shave your beard. Right. According to the Bible. So if you could grow a beard, you want to grow that out. A beard represents a badge of manly dignity. So you want to grow out the beard and you can't shave your head. Those are what you call heathenist customs that the Israelites picked up in an ancient world. All right, we still doing it to this day. We the one?
Verse 28.
No.
You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor for any marks upon you. I am the Lord.
So you can't print any marks upon you, can't get no tattoos. All right, tattoos is a sin according to the Bible. Smoking is a sin. It's a lot of laws in here, man. Again,
Gluttony.
you said what?
Gluttony's an overlooked one.
Huh?
I said gluttony's an overlooked one.
Gluttony,
I've been struggling with that. Like that's like an overlooked sin.
like overeating.
It's like an overlooked sin.
You said what?
I said gluttony's like an overlooked sin as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could lead to sin. I'm not gonna say gluttony is a sin, but that could definitely lead to a sin. It's certain. The Lord gives you wisdom about gluttony, about you eating. You have a lot of people in ancient Rome that used to be accustomed. They used to literally eat, and then they would throw it up and vomit it up in a room, and then they would eat again, and they would do the same thing over and over again. So, at the Most High, He not. Give me Sirach 31 and 19. You want to be able to be cool, right? You don't want to just be a nigger, right? Damn, everybody having a nice meal at the table. You ask, everybody got their food. You ask, say, let me get some of yours. Then you eat there. Then you go on the way home and you pick up some more food. Then you down pop in the fridge. You make you a damn all you can eat buffet when you get home. And now you just full, man. Your belly's just sticking out, and you scratching your belly, right? You just cracking your toes, and that's off. And you in your boxers. So you want to, let's bring this outside right there. You want to 19.
it's the book of Sirach.
Everything want to be done in moderation.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 19.
No.
A very little is significant for a man.
It's sufficient.
It's sufficient for a man, well nurtured, and he fetched not his wind short upon his bed.
Right, so very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured. A man that's well nurtured and health wise, hey, give him a little, he cool with it. He don't want too much, and you gonna learn that through. That's beautiful that you could learn. Hey, I eat a little bit too much. Maybe hey, you could fast. When you fast, that throw in some days where you're not eating a lot, because it's food and spirits. That's a spirit in itself. So, very little, that's sufficient for a man that's well nurtured. You know what?
sound sleep coming from moderate eating.
It says what?
Sound sleep coming from moderate eating.
And the Lord said, you want to get a good night's sleep? It comes from moderate eating. So, hey, you want to get a sound sleep? That's why you want to eat a little bit before you go to sleep. You have a lot of people, they eat a whole bunch, then they expect to go to sleep. The Most High, he said, guess what? You're going to be tossing and turning. You're going to have to go to the bathroom. You're not going to get a good night's rest because you done eating, you done drunk that sugar, that Kool-Aid. Now when you wake up, you're dehydrated. The sugar down sitting in your body. Damn, you getting up, you damn dazed. Versus you going to sleep, you already ate it 2 hours before and you just drunk your glass of water. Now you can wake up, hey, you ready to go. All right, read on.
He rises early, and his wits are with him.
Meaning his knowledge is still with him, read on.
But the pain of watching and troller and pangs of the belly are with an unstandable man.
Are what?
With an unstandable man.
Right, an unstandable man. Meaning his belly stomach always gonna be hurt. He not gonna feel well. His body not gonna feel well. Well, maybe he's eating too much. All right, he just damn. You know those brothers, man. They just stuff their mouth full. Read on.
And if thou hast been forced to eat, arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have rest.
And thou shalt what?
And thou shalt have rest.
Right? You don't want to be that brother, somebody forcing you to eat. Right? He's saying, eat this right now, brother. And he said, well, hold on, I'm not hungry. And he said, eat this right now. Next thing you know, you damn getting full. Hey, the Lord said, go vomit that up, and then you won't have rest. All right? Read on.
My son, hear me, and despise me not. And at the last thou shalt find as I told thee. In all thy works be quick, so shall there no sickness come unto thee.
Because even if you eating a lot, you could get sick off of that. So this is what you call the book of Sirach. You might say, well, what is this book? That's the Apocrypha. You ever heard of the Apocrypha? Those are 14 books that was taken out of the original Bible. The word Apocrypha means hidden.
Right.
Right? You have.
Oh, like the Book of Enoch.
No, it's not like the book. Right? That's the so-called deuterocanonical books. The book of Enoch is false. It's not true.
That's right.
You don't think so?
Well, I mean, it
Wasn't Enoch in the first, wasn't Genesis, I believe?
Yeah, he was in the book of Genesis, but never in the Bible does it mention Enoch having his own book.
Right.
And the book of Enoch contradicts the Bible. The book of Enoch says that you have giants, you had angels, they had sex with women on earth. It created the giants. They say you have giants as tall as these buildings in the book of Enoch. You had the book of Joshua, they say that Isaac was a pedophile. They say that Noah was an albino. So you want to stay away from those books.
Right.
Now, Enoch, yes, he walked the earth, but Enoch got taken. Enoch, he got translated. He wasn't on the earth for that long. And right after Noah, everything got destroyed in the flood. You said what?
Didn't he get brought to heaven? He didn't experience that?
Yeah, he didn't see that. Yeah. He got taken up.
Like Elijah?
Yeah, like Elijah. And when Noah came, everything got destroyed in the flood. So let's say if it was a book of Enoch on the earth, everything got destroyed in the flood, how is there going to be a book of Enoch today? And the book of Enoch goes back, it don't go back to the Dead Sea Scrolls. No ancient manuscripts could literally link up and say, okay, this is accurate. The book of Enoch is newly created. I'm going to just say that. So, nevertheless, that's the book of Sirach. That's a book of wisdom. It's going to give you wisdom on certain things to help probably with your gluttony.
Where can I find books like these?
You could go online and find them.
Okay, fuck.
Just type it in online, Amazon, they'll pop up. It's a lot of information in that book.
These are like forgotten books that weren't put in like the new version, like the King James version Bibles that, you know what I mean?
Well, it's actually in the 1611 King James Bible. But the Protestants during the 1800s took them out because they felt like it wasn't authoritative. But we all know you can't take from God's word.
Right.
All right, just because you feel like something is not scriptural, but when you had a 1611 King James Bible, you actually had the Apocrypha inside of it. So yeah, you could look inside. So you had a book. No, that's Isaiah.
She wrote upside down.
So you have First and Second Esdras in there. That's not gonna be in your modern day Bible.
Just to match it up with this. Yeah, I've never seen this book before.
Yeah, that's the 1611.
Yeah, you got.
So at one point in time, those books was in the Bible, but they were taken out by man.
14 books. Wow, they're already in the 1611.
Yep.
Thank you, brother.
And even in Bibles before these. So that's the reason why they call it the Apocrypha, because it's hidden information they don't want you to know.
Right. Would you say those like give a lot about like commandments and stuff like that?
Yeah, some commandments in there. A lot of them books is actually you read about
Like a lot of hidden gems.
Yeah, you actually read about certain men in the Old Testament. That's how we know the Apocrypha was actually a part of the Old Testament. So you're gonna read about Daniel in the Apocrypha. You're gonna read about Ezra. That's First and Second Ezra. That's who wrote Ezra. That's who wrote Ezra. Right? You're gonna read about Susanna. You read about King of Manasseh. There's certain prayers in there. So it's actually literally was a part of the Bible. It was just taken out. So yeah, you read about the Greek Empire in there.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Huh?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, you read about Nebuchadnezzar in there. You read about King Ahasuerus. So, hey, a lot of that stuff is a part of the Old Testament.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah. You got any more biblical questions? Anything you want to know?
What do you think? What do you think? Was like the main reason, like that Jesus Christ gave his life, on that cross for?
What was the main reason?
Yeah.
Well, the main reason again was
it for us to be saved through him, like just for salvation reasons, or what do you think the main reason was?
Let's go to John 3:16. Let's break down John 3:16 how it's supposed to be broken down. So Christ, again, he was only sent to the Israelites, but you have to realize the history between the Most High and the Israelites. Throughout time, our relationship with the Father got discontinued. That's why, give me Job chapter 16, give me verse number 21. That's why somebody has to come and reconcile God back with his people. Because we knocked that option out. We can't deal directly. We don't have Moses anymore. Moses is not going to say, well, hold on, I'm going to talk to God for y'all. Moses is not here. So somebody has to come down and be able to reconcile the children back to the Father. That's what Elijah the prophet was for. He was to get the fathers back to the children. Let's get that in real fast before we go to that. Let's get that in Malachi 4 and 5. So Christ came so he can redeem, so he can give us grace and mercy. Right? Ultimately, grace and mercy. And we could believe on him, be free from sin, and live for the Most High as best as we can until his second coming. We're gonna break everything down.
It's the book of Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I will send you, Elijah the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
Now this is twofold. Right? This is talking about the second coming, and it's talking about when he came to die on the cross. Now when he came to die on the cross, that's why Elijah the prophet was already there before him, speaking to the none other than the Israelites. So God's gonna send Elijah the prophet, read on.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children.
And he shall what?
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children.
Read on.
And the heart of the children to their fathers.
Right.
Lest I come and smite the earth with the curse.
Or less, when Christ came, he just destroyed everybody. Right? So before he comes, his second coming, Elijah the prophet has to come on the earth, restore the father back, his children back to the father, And that's what's being done right now.
Wait, tell me.
No.
Yeah, my bad, dog.
You good. He was just saying, just listen. Nevertheless, that's what we're doing right now. That's why you're able to learn about who God truly is. Because Elijah the prophet already came. Now, we don't know who he was. Nevertheless, he already came through the Spirit. Now, let's go to John. Let's go to Job first.
It's the book of Job, chapter 16 and verse 21.
Yo.
Oh, that one might plead for a man with God.
It says what?
Oh, that one might plead for a man with God.
Because somebody got to plead for man. Right. We can't just say, you know what? I want to access the Father. No, it don't work like that. You got to have a mediator. Again, you didn't broke the covenant. We didn't disobey our Father. We're not on good terms. Somebody has to be that mediator and plead with man for the Most High God. Read that again.
Oh, that one might plead for a man with God.
Right.
As a man pleadeth for his neighbor.
Just like you might plead for somebody, hey, nah, bro, he cool. He not even on that, right? He cool with people. This my cousin. That's how somebody has to step in and plead with man. Hey, no, Father. That's why you have an advocate. Christ, he's the advocate for our sins.
Teach
right?
us.
Let's go to that in 1 John 2:1. He's the man to come in and say, well, hold on, Father. I know they've been sinning. I know they've been into idolatry. Just have mercy upon them. Do it for me. And when Christ said, do it for me, what had to be done? His death had to be done. He had to die for the sin. Somebody had to be that sacrificial lamb. All right, who is that sacrificial lamb? That was Christ. Right. Let's bring this out.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2, and verse 1.
Bring it out.
My little children, these things write I unto you.
Right.
That ye sin not. And if any man sin,
If what?
and if any man sin,
If any man sin, which we all have done, read on.
we have an advocate.
We have an what?
We have an advocate.
We got an advocate. We got somebody to plead on our behalf. Because if it was up to God, we would be dead. We should be dead right now, brother. Honestly. Like, all jokes aside, we should be dead right now. We shouldn't even be out here teaching the Bible. We should be underneath 6 feet deep underneath the earth for all that we did. So off bat, that's amazing in itself that somebody, that's like the Lord finna smite us right now, and somebody just come in and say and stop his hand. Yeah. Christ said, hold on, Lord, no. Just be patient, have mercy. Send me down. I'll put myself on the line for them. Right? I'll be that sacrifice. Right? Take me up. So Christ is an advocate for the nation. You know what?
We have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous.
Right? So Yahweh the righteous, he's that advocate for us. Now let's go to John 3:16.
It's the book of John.
And let's go to John 1:17.
Chapter 3 and verse 16. For God so loved the world.
Right? Now this world is actually talking about the world of Israel. Pursuant to Isaiah 45:17. We're going?
That he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but,
Right.
but have everlasting life.
So Christ came to bring salvation for the Israelites, for his people. Alright? That's why he came. So now you can believe on Christ. Whatever you was doing before you was believing on Christ, is now blotted out. Right? So that's why he's the walking resurrection. If you believe on him, you're gonna be raised from the dead spiritually. Right? Now let's bring this up.
The book of John, chapter 1 and verse 17. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ.
It says what?
But grace and truth came by Jesus Christ.
Right? Because under the law of Moses, you would be stoned, man. You commit adultery, that's it. You get stoned. Oh. Grace and mercy came by the Lord. So it's a lot of different reasons why the Lord came. But those are the main reasons why he came and he died on the cross. That makes sense?
Yeah. For grace and mercy, for forgiveness of sin.
Grace and mercy.
To be a mediator. Would you guys want to pray for me?
Yeah, we'll throw up a prayer for you. All right, so we pray in the Hebrew tongue. So we might just throw up the Lord's Prayer, or we we might throw up the blessings for Yasha Allah. But we pray in the Hebrew tongue because the Hebrew has a stronger force. It's more powerful than the English. So if you cool with that, praying in the Hebrew, we got you. We'll throw up a prayer for you.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's throw up a quick prayer for the brother. Oh, you over there.
Dad. All right. Dad. Dude, turn it off for the prayer. Okay. You want to
Rakta Yahweh.
Rakta Yahweh.
Rakta Shah.
Rakta Shah.
Rakta Yahweh.
Rakta Yahweh.
Rakta Shah.
Rakta Shah.
Rakta Yahweh.
Rakta Yahweh.
Rakta Shah.
Rakta Shah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashim.
Bashim.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Shalak.
Shalak.
Al.
Al.
Ali.
Ali.
Ha.
Ha.
Huwa.
Huwa.
Shawar.
Shawar.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
La.
La.
Kabar.
Kabar.
Amat.
Amat.
Pa.
Pa.
Kadad.
Kadad.
Shapak.
Shapak.
Wa.
Wa.
Rabi.
Rabi.
Wahabi.
Wahabi.
Wa.
Wa.
Rabi.
Rabi.
Kazaki.
Kazaki.
Wa.
Wa.
Rabi.
Rabi.
Rapaki.
Rapaki.
Wa.
Wa.
Rabi.
Rabi.
Salaki.
Salaki.
Wa.
Wa.
Hafizah.
Hafizah.
Aya.
Aya.
Ma.
Ma.
Ko.
Ko.
Rayum.
Rayum. Babakashah. Babakashah. Babakashah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashim.
Bashim.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The water.
The water.
The water.
The water. The water.
Most I willing that help.
You said what?
He said most I willing that help, brother.
Yeah. That was awesome. How'd you guys learn that?
We got Hebrew prayers we study, so the more you study, it'll come. Yeah, we actually got the Hebrew pulled up right here.
You said what?
So we got the Hebrew pulled up right here, because the Hebrew is the world's oldest language. That's what you call the original language, right? English wasn't always here. He wasn't always speaking English. So I know you said Yahweh, Yeshua. According to the Bible, in the language of Hebrew, their real name will be Yahweh and Yahushua.
Right. You talking about Jesus?
Yeah, his real name would be Yahushua.
You said it's not Yeshua?
No. The reason why we say it's not Yeshua because it's no vowels in the Hebrew.
Thank you for this. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's no vowels in the Hebrew. So this is the name of the Father right here. And the Hebrew is Yah. You read it from right to left. So it's Yah, Ha, is Yah, Ha, Wa. Yeah, Yahweh. Yahweh. And you have his son's name, Yahweh Shah.
That's right.
Yahweh Shah.
Yeah.
You don't say the I?
Well, it's really Yahweh Shah.
Yahweh Shah.
Some people say Yahweh Shah, but it's really Yahweh Shah. You don't say the I because again, it's no vowels. So it's Yahweh Shah. And as you can see, hey, the original paintings had them dark skin.
Right.
So
What time are you guys gonna be here tomorrow?
3 o'clock in Woodside Willow.
Okay.
We'll be out here at 3 Woodside Willow.
You guys still gonna be around here like for a couple more hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be out here for like 2 more hours.
Yep. This is the Lord's work here. This is the Lord's work. Keep on going.
Yep. So did you get the flyer?
Oh yeah, he gave me the flyer.
Yeah, so we got a YouTube channel on there.
Yeah.
Subscribe. And check out the videos. Grab your Bible and just follow along. And hopefully, I'm saying you learn by watching the videos and going to the verses yourself.
Yeah, I'm actually out here to see Pastor Marcus Rogers at Firehouse Church. I don't know if you heard of him.
Nah, we ain't here.
You haven't heard of him?
Nah.
Check him out. He's like, he does what you guys do. You know what I mean? He's like the real deal. You know? Firehouse Church. Marcus Rogers. You see him on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, he's dope, man. But yeah, keep it up, guys.
All right.
You said it to LA?
Yeah.
I got a QR code for you. Got brothers in LA too that do the work. So.
Oh, you do? Okay. Sure.
WO5 Los Angeles.
So you got the QR code. You get the scan. Lost you got a Bay Area. So you got brothers in the Bay Area. QR code too.
Oh, you said what?
Los Angeles, and we got brothers that's in the Bay Area,
right
around that area.
It's
Oh, okay, for sure.
Proverbs 23. You got a question?
Yes, sir. All praise to the Most High.
Yeah.
How should we bring out the precept of 1 Corinthians 10,
Yeah, fine, yeah, I got
27? Paul talks about, I want to read it if you don't mind.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
All right, no doubt. Say it, man.
Mighty teacher. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians 10, 27. It says, if any of them that believe not bid you to feast, and you be disposed to go, whosoever is set before you, eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. So how should we break down that? How should we go about that? And because Paul is simply saying, if you come into the table, if somebody sets like some food before you, you know what I'm saying? It's be conscious of not disrespecting or whatever. So how would we break down that, sir?
That's a good question. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 to 27. And give me Proverbs chapter 23 and give me verse 1. So 1 Corinthians 10 to 27.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 27.
Start at verse 25.
Verse 25.
So chiefly when you read 1 Corinthians chapter 10, chiefly 21 down, that's dealing with food sacrificed to idols.
Yes, sir.
We're going to show you that. Verse 25.
Verse 25.
No.
Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, ask no question for conscience sake.
So whatever that's sold in the shambles, the markets, don't be questioning something about where is this from, right? Is this sacrifice an idol? Because then what if the dude say, hold on, yeah, this the lamb, and you calling the stores, then you trying to call the farm where you got it from, then you find out that this meat was sacrificed unto the Greek god Zeus. Hey, that's gonna ruin your whole day. You're gonna be confounded. Now you can't eat the meat because you didn't ask the question. So Paul is saying, hey, whatever showed in them shambles, don't even ask for conscience sake, because you're gonna bug yourself out trying to find out, okay, was this animal sacrificed to the spiritual demon Satan? It's gonna be a lot of madness. Read on.
Verse 26.
No.
For the earth is the Lord's,
Right.
and the fullness thereof. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast,
Right. They bid you to a feast. Read on.
and ye be disposed to go,
Right.
whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
Meaning, let's say if you have a feast at your house and I come to your house, but I'm asking you, where did you get this lamb from? Is this lamb sacrificed to Aphrodite? I mean, that's off. You're gonna not. You might have a question. Well, dang, is this? Then you calling up so and so. It's just a lot of confusion. Paul is saying, hey, man, just eat the food and keep it pushing. All right, we all know that the Most High controls the whole world. Everything belongs to the Most High. There's no idols. Read on.
Verse 28.
No.
But if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols.
This is what?
This is offered unto sacrifice unto idols.
Now, if he come out and say, hey, hold on. This is sacrifice to an idol. This is offered up. Read on.
Eat not for his sake that sheweth it.
Hey, don't eat that because, hey, we're not finna just see your brother just throw up a prayer to the spiritual demon Satan over my Wendy's, and I'm just clearing up that confusion in the Church of Corinth.
Yes, sir.
Now, I would say this in Proverbs 2:3-1. Now, for your question, originally, if somebody offer you meat, are we supposed to despise it? Etc. That's what you're saying? Or you just saying for that verse?
For example, as we told not to eat pork, right? We told not to eat anything that's selfish and stuff like that. So if we come into an unbeliever's table, you know what I'm saying? How should we go about saying if they put something that we can't eat on it? How should we go about dealing with that situation?
Okay. Now that's according to the law. So you got to just tell them, hey, eating pork is a sin. You bring out the commandments. Da 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 da. That's like saying, well, hold on. My mom, she celebrates birthdays, but I don't want to despise her. So you sit down at the table, you start eating the cake. No, that's evil.
Right.
You're gonna get judged according to that. So if it's off, if it's against the commandments of the Most High, then you gotta stand up.
Right.
But if it's lawful, it's clean, she offer you something, some lamb, hey, if you want to eat, hey, go ahead. If you don't, guess what? You don't have to.
Yes, sir.
But that time in the time of the Corinthians, that was talking about food sacrificed to idols. Now there is certain laws set up. So in wisdom, I say, if somebody do offer you to sit down at the table, let's go to that in Proverbs chapter 2.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 1. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee.
Right? So let's say if you go consider a ruler, a top man, or a king, you want to consider what's before you. Read on.
And put a knife to thy throat.
And what?
And put a knife to thy throat.
Read on.
If thou be a man given to appetite.
Because you might be a man that's, hey, like the brother said, a glutton. You might just like to eat. The Lord said, put a knife to thy throat, meaning don't eat.
Yes, sir.
Because you already know how you get. Read on.
Be not desirous of his benches.
Right?
For they are deceitful meat.
For they are what?
For they are deceitful meat.
Then you got certain people, they might just sit you down just to get on your good side. Your wife, she just committed adultery. She's coming home. The first thing she do, you're trying to figure out why is she always getting in the shower when she get home. She get inside the shower. She say, no, I'm gonna take a bath. Right? She just always taking baths when she come home, getting in the shower. She out committing adultery. They say, you know what, babe? Let's go out to eat to your favorite place. She never does it. It's never happened before. She always calling you out your name. Right? Right? She calling you out of your name. She disrespects you. She don't listen. You try to bring out the commandments. She don't want to listen. All of a sudden, she just say, you know what? Come on. We're going out to your favorite place tonight.
And did she pay for it?
And she might pay for it.
Right.
Say, don't worry about it, babe. It's all on me. Right? That's what you call deceitful meats. Because she's doing that to take your mind away, or ultimately to take her mind away for the fact that she just committed adultery. Or it could be any situation. It could be a king, right? He might want your daughter to be his wife, so he sits you down at the table, make a nice banquet, get on your good side. And the Lord said, hey, all of that, you got to be aware of that. You know what?
Labor not to be rich.
Yes on that. Nevertheless, Proverbs the 23rd chapter is Iraq. Chapter 34 is Iraq. Chapter 31. Those are all good chapters. You want to say that?
Last question, please.
Yeah.
How would you say this? Did the curse start with man first, or did it start with the Israelites? Because me and my father was having a conversation, and we were he broke down the curse of Adam, and then after he broke down the curse of Adam, that was for all men, because all men go through certain things. But at the same time, what would you say, sir? Towards the curses of all men, and towards the curses of us.
Right. Give me the book of Genesis chapter 3 and give me verse 15. And give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. Actually, give me Deuteronomy 29 and 1. So you have different type of curses in the Bible. Just like you have different type of laws in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
When you see that word law, that just doesn't mean the law, statutes, commandments. You have something called the law of Christ, right? Meaning you have to bear your brother's burden. You have the law of sin and death.
Yes, sir.
You have the royal law in James the 2nd chapter.
Yes, sir.
So you have different laws, just like you have different curses. You had a curse of man. You had a curse of the Israelites.
Yes,
You have curses and spells somebody might put on somebody individually. So it's all different. The curses of Deuteronomy 28 only apply to the Israelites.
Yes, sir.
The curses of man and woman only applies to man and woman.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to that Genesis.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 14.
Bring it out.
And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field.
Right.
Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
So this serpent, guess what? The punishment for having caused man to fall, right? You're going to be cursed on up from the earth, meaning you will always be at the bottom. Whatever this ancient nation was during this time, they're always going to be at the bottom. They're going to go upon their belly, etc. Seeing that this is not an actual serpent. Read on.
Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Right.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
Right.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
So again, these are the curses of man and woman.
Yes, sir.
Now when Christ comes back, are these curses going to be lifted? Well, absolutely. Because what? In the kingdom of heaven, yes, your husband is still going to be, your desire off bat is already, you desire to be, the Lord created you to be with your husband.
Yes, sir.
Right? The husband automatically, he's going to rule over his woman in righteousness. Now, in the kingdom of heaven, will there be sorrow? Will Eve always be emotional how she is now?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because there's not going to be no sorrow. That's Revelation chapter 21. That's Revelation chapter 21. The Lord is going to wipe away all your tears. Right? So, give me Deuteronomy 29 and 1.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel,
right,
in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb.
So the curses of Deuteronomy 28 only apply to the Israelites because it's a covenant that they made in Exodus chapter 24 and in Deuteronomy chapter 27. Right? A lot of people don't read Deuteronomy 27. They go straight to Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah, me and my father was having a conversation about Deuteronomy 27 because we figure Deuteronomy 27 gets you ready for what's about to come. It's more like a contract signing. You're going to an interview, and they ask you, can you do certain things? And so Deuteronomy 27 is like almost saying, like, can you do the job? Yes, sir, I can. Can you follow instructions? Or, yes, sir. So yeah, Deuteronomy 27 is that's the backbone of Deuteronomy 28. Yes.
Right. So hey, yeah, a lot of people, they don't read. They go straight to Deuteronomy 28. But Deuteronomy 27, that's the Israelites literally saying all of these things we will do.
Like an oath.
It's an oath. They saying, hey, whatever in this covenant, we would do. All right. So those curses It's only for the Israelites because that's the covenant that God made for them.
Yes, sir.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All praises.
Thank you. All praises.
All right. So with that, we give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh. Ba'ashemu Mashiach Kumadak Yahusha. Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Yashala.
Death to America.
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 Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Yashala.